This is live wherever we are in the world, but what a lineup, guys. We do have a great discussion, so let's get straight into it with our very first guest. Virtual round of applause for Yu-Fai Suen, who's the film producer and managing director of the Berkeley Media Group. Welcome, Yu-Fai. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for inviting me onto the show, Mickey. It's great to be here.
Awesome. We're so excited to have you here because we know that you've got such an amazing, rich history of being a producer and in the film industry. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you do and where you are right now, what you're up to?
I'm actually in Riga in Latvia because we actually finished shooting the movie here. We wrapped about 5 weeks ago and we shot it during the COVID crisis. But just a little bit about my background. I ran Elton John's Rocket Pictures for about 5 years, developing and producing films for Elton and David Furnish. And then I spent a couple of years as managing director at Pinewood Studios, being head of their production and financing division. And in the last couple of years, my own company, BERKELEY Media Group, and we're developing about 30 odd projects across film, television, from storytellers across the globe, from the US, UK, Europe, India, China, South Africa. So we want to hear a lot of stories from voices around the world. So that's what we do.
Fantastic. And so can you tell us a little bit more about the production that you're working on now? I believe we've got the one and only Mickey Rourke on your film set. And what happened pre and post lockdown? Yeah, that is Mickey Rourke, right?
Okay, so
very, very.
It is Mickey Rourke. Yeah. He's a pussycat at the end of the day. Okay, so
the dirt.
I came to Latvia to shoot this film called War Hunt. It's a horror, World War II horror fantasy, where a bunch of US soldiers go into the Black Forest in Germany, and they come across some amazing witches. That's basically the story. So we started pre-production in January, February, and I came towards the end of February for pre-production, and we were about a week into production when the whole COVID thing in Europe started. Italy, started reporting huge numbers of infections and deaths. We heard we were given notice that the Latvian government was going to close the borders. Mm-hmm. And so we had a mad dash to actually get all our cast into the country. So literally we rang Mickey Rourke's agent and said he's not due to come for 10 days, but he's literally got 48 hours to get to Latvia. So he had to get on a plane that evening, go to London, and then fly from London to Riga. And we literally got him into the country with like 2 hours to spare. So I mean, that was kind of seat of our pants stuff. But we got our star into the country. We shot the movie, and now we're doing post-production. But we had to take a decision whether to go ahead, actually. And that, I think that was, with the producers, it was sitting down saying, look, the world is, going crazy. It's going upside down. This thing is really bad. What should we do? And we decided to push ahead because I think we would have kicked ourselves if we hadn't. We kind of we're going to go for it. So we sort of pretty much overnight decided to put in the COVID sort of procedures, face masks, hand sanitizers, having temperature taken twice a day on set, doing social distancing as far as possible. I mean, we've got some of the photos where you can see the crew with face masks. I mean, there were times when we had to be together, like where we're looking at a monitor here, but mostly luckily we were shooting a lot in the forest, so there's a lot of space out there. And then when we were on set, we had two stages, so we could actually separate people.
Right.
But the main challenge actually was the meal times, because that's when everyone breaks and people start going to the catering tent, and there you had to do the social distancing. So instead of a sort of 45-minute break, it will take an hour and a half because people are just lining up, having their temperatures taken, doing the hand sanitizers before going into
So much more on that
and
checklist.
again. I beg your pardon.
Sorry, yeah, so much more on that checklist to do. It's not just a typical film set. You've now are looking after beyond the welfare of your staff, and it's probably not even included in insurance, was it?
Absolutely. I mean, that was the thing, because producing a movie is kind of balancing 100 plates at any one time in any case, and then added to in the COVID crisis, you kind of go, oh my god, like how many more things do we have to think about? And every day we're just praying that nobody, the infections didn't happen, would people's temperatures been taken, contact forms been filled out. But I think we're also on the slightly lucky side, because Latvia is one of the lowest sort of infection and death rate countries in the whole of Europe. I think even to date there's just over 1,000 infections and I think 15 or 16 deaths. So with that, we had luck on our side. But going through that experience, we proved that we could do it. We wrapped, and we're so happy we could do that. And wrapping is always a great experience. You kind of go, oh my god, that's a wrap. But wrapping this was just like, I've done a ton of movies, and wrapping this was just so special to actually do it when everyone, we're reading about all the countries, all the productions stopping everywhere. When Tom Cruise can't film, and you got people being airlifted out of Morocco after with a few days left of shooting. You hear all these stories, and you kind of go, how long is our luck gonna last? And we got there, and that last, it was that 3 a.m, we wrapped, and it was like, oh my god, we did it. And through that experience, we've actually been able to work with the Latvian government, who've given us permission to shoot more here. We've actually got insurance as one of the very few countries, I think, to get insurance against for COVID and production insurance. And we're actually prepping.
Yu-Fai? We might have lost him there. It's just a tech show, folks. Just in case. Oh, there you are, honey. There you are. I just want to congratulate you on finishing that project. You put everything in place. You gathered some last-minute learnings. You had to pivot within a second, and you not only managed to keep your production going, but you managed to keep your talent happy.